Hello everyone, welcome to another Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about enumerate function. So first, what is enumerate? Enumerate appends indices to each of the elements inside a sequence, and it is commonly used in combination with for loops. So I think the best way to understand it is through examples. Over here, I'm creating a list_1 which contains 3 elements, Johnny, Jenny, and Henry. What we can do is pass this list1 inside a enumerate functions and then store the entire object into a variable which I name x. Now if we want to print out the x, we can see that x represents a enumerate object. And if we want to see what's inside this x, we can turn this x into a list by passing the x inside a list functions. So essentially we are converting this enumerate object into a list and then print the entire list out. You will see that the final result is a list with 3 elements just like before, but this time each element is a tuple with 2 entries. First one is the index represented by the original list, and then the second one is the actual elements inside the original list. So how do you use enumerate function inside a for loop? Typically, this is how we iterate over a list. We talked about the syntax for loop last time, which is for and then dummy variable I, the special command in, and then your sequence. In this case is our list_1. So this is a way to iterate over our list_1. But sometimes not only do we want to know the individual elements, we also want to know the index of each element inside this for loop. So if we want to do that, we can use this syntax for index, comma, I in enumerate list_1. So if you recall that each element inside a enumerate is a tuple with 2 entries. First one is the index, second one is the actual elements inside the original list. So that's why we are having these 2 dummy variables here. First one is index, second one is I. Now in this time, if we print out the index and I, you'll see that we are printing out the index of Johnny, which is 0, and then the actual element, which is Johnny, index 1 Jenny, index 2 Henry. So this is how you can use enumerate into a for loop to allows you to access not only the individual elements of your sequence but also its index. Now let's see some examples on how to use enumerate. I believe these examples will help you to understand how to use them in your own application. So first example is to print out only the even indexes items. I'm creating a list_2 which has the alphabet letters from A through M. Let's say if I only want to print out the even indexes item, so I only want to print out this letter B, letter D, letter F, H, K, and M. How can I do that? I can use the enumerate function in combination with a for loop. So in this case, I have 4 index I in enumerate list_2. And I have a condition here to check whether the current iteration representing a even index item or not. So the syntax is just I'm using a if statement. If the index plus 1 can be completely divided by 2, which means that if this index plus 1 divided by 2 has no remainder, then I'm going to print out I. If not, then I'm not going to print out I. So as you can see, this syntax allows us to print out only the even indexes items, which are B, D, F, H, K, and M. That's one example of how you can use enumerate in combination with for loops. Here is a second example. So in these examples, I want to print out the differences between two consecutive numbers. I'm creating a list underscore 3, which is a list of some integers. There are some positive integers and negative integers, and then also there's 0. So how do I print out the differences between two consecutive numbers? I'm again using the enumerate function in combination with the for loop, and I'm going to skip the first index, which is 0 here. I'm going to start with this second element, which is number 3. If index is equal to 0, which is the first element, I'm not going to do anything. But if index is not equal to 0, I'm going to print out the current values, which is the I, the dummy variable I, minus list underscore 3, index minus 1. So for example, if we are currently in the second element, which is 3, then its index is 1. So I will be taking 3 minus the 1 minus 1, 0. So I will be taking 3 minus the first index of list 3, which is 0. It should give us number 3. And then in the second iteration, we will be using 4 minus 3, so it will give us number 1. And here is the result. So in the last iteration, we will be using minus 8 minus 2, which is minus 10. This concludes everything I want to talk about on the enumerate function. If you feel this video is helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.